What's up, guys? This is Steve here. Today we're going to be showing you how to install WordPress on a subdomain via GoDaddy cPanel. So as you can tell right here, this is my GoDaddy account view. We're just going to go to our web hosting. This is if you already have web hosting available, and this kind of goes for creation in any cPanel environment. So if you have Bluehost or HostGator, it really doesn't matter. It's all kind of the same, but I just chose GoDaddy since that's where the majority of my websites are hosted. That's where I'm going to be doing this today. So techjohn.com is just my domain account name. I don't actually use that website anymore. So we're just going to click on Manage here. And GoDaddy's website sometimes is extremely slow, so bear with me. I will speed this up in the actual recording. Okay. So this is cPanel, and for most people this will be where you're majority spending the time. We have your file manager if you want to actually go into the files, upload, delete. As you can tell, WordPress only allows anywhere from 5 megabytes to 30 megabytes of upload or upload size. So what you find yourself doing a lot is going to the file manager or FTPing into the website to upload large files. Most themes are under 30 megabytes, and you can also change that in the PHP ini files and stuff, but that'll be for another video, which I'll show you guys how to do that. And there's a couple different ways to enable that to get a better upload size. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a subdomain, and again, this is for users who already have a domain purchased through GoDaddy or domain purchased. Obviously, you can't just go create a subdomain that just doesn't exist. You do want to create a domain and then subdomains off of it. I find that being the best way to kind of do this. And a lot of the times I usually create a subdomain for example websites, you know, if I'm doing a draft of a website or to just kind of test things. It's good to have subdomains, or if you're doing different sections of your main site. So let's get into it. Let's go down to subdomains. So it'll be domains and subdomains, and we'll click this. This will bring us to the subdomains page, obviously. So now what we want to do is we want to name the subdomain. So for the sake of this experiment, we're going to do new WordPress site. And then we're going to have to choose the domain that we want to create this site off of. Okay, so we can create it off of another subdomain. We can create it off of a main domain. I mean, anything that shows up here you can create it off of. For the sake of this experiment, we're going to do my draft site. And this will be where your document root is. Usually you leave this default unless you have a more complicated configuration, but default's just fine. It'll be in your public HTML folder, and that's where all your other websites and themes and plugins and stuff will be. So we're just going to create that. Okay, so it says success. New WordPress site .draft site .website has been created. Okay, so now we can go back. So we have a subdomain. So now if we go back to our account, back to cPanel, which I can't seem to navigate to, it's created. So now we want to put WordPress on our subdomain. So what do? cPanel makes it extremely easy. We go to Web Applications, WordPress, and we click on that. This takes us to this menu, which is Installatron. Again, cPanel and everybody pretty much has this feature, so if you're not using GoDaddy, it's not a big deal. And then we want to go to Install Application. And then this will give us this menu. So now we want to choose the newly created subdomain that we just made a few minutes ago from this drop-down. So remember, it was called New WordPress Site or WordPress News Site. I don't even remember what it's called, but we're going to find it now. So if we scroll down, you'll see all these subdomains and different things, and this is the entire list of everything that I've created. Okay, so this is just a ton of different websites here. Okay, so we want to find our new WordPress site. We just look in here, and here it is. New WordPress site, .drive site.website, like we've created. Now this is the directory, so this you normally want to change, otherwise your website will have this URL. Okay, and it's long enough already, as you can tell, being a subdomain, so unless you absolutely want to have it, you could just take this out, and that's why it is optional, and then we have a more normalized URL scheme here. Version, you want to choose the most recent version unless you have a theme or unless you have specific criteria that you need to choose older versions of WordPress for, but for security reasons and updates, I always choose the most recent WordPress version. You just want to accept the normal EULA here. Automatic updates, and if I'm creating this for a client or even for myself, I do not want automatic updates. The reason I don't want automatic updates is because when you use the theme or customize or plugins and things like that, and WordPress updates without giving you any real time to adjust or test things, usually breaks your site or breaks a plugin or messes something up to where you have to then dig deep and figure out what's going on, possibly recover the site or reinstall it. It's just easier, in my opinion, to test these things and do not automatically update until your plugins also update or become compatible with the latest version. So do not automatically update is what I would recommend. WordPress plugin automatic update, no. WordPress theme automatic update, no. Automatic update backup. You do want to create a backup, obviously, so that if something like that happens to your site, you can always revert back. For the sake of this, I will not create a backup. Administrator username, so this can be anything that you want it to be. For the sake of this, I'm going to make it simple and name it good old administrator. Again, you don't want to name it admin or administrator because of hacking, and just make it a lot easier for someone to get into your website. Administrator password, I'm going to type this in real quick. Administrator email, so who's going to be receiving email updates when WordPress is officially installed or all that. So you want to put an email address that they're going to use. So I'm going to just keep it right here. I'm not going to change that because, again, I really don't want to get any updates for when the site is finished. GoDaddy's really good with telling you the progress and stuff. Usually takes a few minutes. Website title, new WordPress site, and whatever tagline you want. I do recommend two-factor authentication, but for the sake of this, we're not going to enable it. Limit login attempts, you always want to keep this as yes. So when a bot or somebody tries to constantly get into your website, they'll get locked out after a few attempts. And again, in other videos, I will show you how to better protect your WordPress site, and there's a lot of other options, brute force attacks, and that people can basically set up to annoy the hell out of you. So we don't want that to happen. But for the sake of this, we're going to limit login attempts. Okay, and you do want to remember your username and password. Enable multi-site, you don't have to enable it unless you're creating a bunch of sites that you want to kind of organize and be able to edit without having to log into each one. So again, we're going to click no for this. Advanced setting management, you just keep that as default. And then we're going to click install. Okay, so this is going to go through a bit of processing, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're all finished up there. So now you will come to, or you will be greeted with this page. This page will show you all of your WordPress installs, all of your WordPress updates, the URLs, the versions, the database files, etc. So now we're going to want to test our new site just to make sure it's actually, in fact, working. So we're going to go to it, open up a new link, and there's our WordPress site. So remember, that's the title we created, and that's the little slogan or tagline, tutorial by GoDaddy, and this is your basic template. So now we want to log in just to verify. And again, you can go back to cPanel, you can click here, this will be your login URL. Okay, it logged us right in, so we're going to log out just to show you the usual method here. So you're going to want to use the subdomain here, new WordPress site, .draftsite.website/ wp-login, and that's just the usual page. Now I can't find it, so I'll go back just to make sure. Forgot a slash there. And this keeps just logging us in, so here we go. We're going to type in administrator, our password. I like for it to remember me, and then log in, and here's your dashboard. So this tutorial basically wraps up showing you how to install or create a subdomain via GoDaddy and cPanel, how to install WordPress onto the subdomain, and then how to access your WordPress dashboard. So I will create a few more tutorials, basically diving deeper into each section of WordPress, installing themes, security, things like that, in the next volume of this. So thank you for watching.